And we're off.
Just heard the gun. I love cross country for pros because not that often do you get the chance to compete as part of a team where you really feel like, you know, in track, even if you wear the same jersey as someone else, you're typically, it feels much more like an individual sport. So it really does kind of bring you back to those high school and college days where you're like, I got to do it for the team. You get to dig a little bit deeper when there's that extra motivation.
I think we're seeing a lot of nostalgic people showing up to race this too. Getting back to their deep-rooted feelings about what it's like and what it means to get out and run. And I'm sure it'll help them going into this track season too.
And for a lot of those people who've done it in high school or maybe in college, I think it'll be fun to go back and see how much they can better their PR from, you know, in high school I ran it in this time and you know, running it a minute faster or what have you. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, so here we are. This is the Valley Loop. So they're going to do 2 loops of this before they hit the switchbacks.
Did they go out there, question for you, did they go out there with some water on the course? Because I was jogging with you and I went back to add a few more miles and the ground had become a little bit, looked like they had sprayed it down a little bit. I don't know if you know the answer to that, but
they did spray it down a little bit just so they don't kick up as much dust here, because that's an issue on this course. And
yeah,
I mean, if you're a runner out there, you definitely don't want that dust in your face.
Just like choking on other people's kicking up dust in front of you.
Right here we have Danny Shanahan up here, and she's followed by the group from the Hanson's Brooks project, and then behind them you can see Allie Buchalski too, wearing a similar uniform to the Brooks Hanson's team, but she's a Brooks beast, of course, from Seattle.
So she's actually racing in the Hanson's Brooks kit, though. She's swapping out to their kit for today.
No way.
That's what her Instagram says.
Okay.
She announced on her Instagram, she said, don't be surprised to see me with the Hanson Brooks kit. She's sponsored by Brooks. You know, Hanson Brooks is Brooks. But she usually does Brooks Beast. That's her team. But I think just for the team aspect today, I think she's swapping out so they can all have the same jersey.
Okay. Well, everybody's bunched right now, and you can see the Hanson's Brooks team there, and they consist of Amy Davis, Katie Monks, Olivia Pratt, and Anne-Marie Blaney.
And we have a runner from the Janes team over here on the right hand of the screen.
Local running club down here.
I love the Janes. Shout out to the Janes. Yeah, they're a local. When I first, rolled up to LA, even before I got in here, I put it on my Instagram. Hey, I want to meet up with some of the local run clubs, meet the running community. I'm on my own now. I don't have a team anymore, so I'd love to get connected to the running community here. And I got so many awesome messages from run clubs here locally in LA, which is so cool to see. The running community here is thriving. And the Janes, I got a bunch of messages from the Janes, and that's really cool to see one of their runners up in this lead pack right now.
And that's Kayleen Morris of the Janes, too.
Perfect.
And she's run 16:11 in the 5K and grew up in Torrance, California, so not too far away. Went to Cal Poly Pomona, ran cross country there.
A good California girl, tried and true.
And here we are, they're making their way around their second loop here in the Valley Loop, also known as the Dam Loop.
So a runner we're not seeing out there today is Wayne Colati, is that correct?
That is correct.
She was on your start list if anyone's looking out for that, but she's actually not in the race right now.
So here we have Danny Shanahan running next to Kayleen Morris up front in the women's race, and then the pack of Hanson's Brooks athletes and the beast, Allie Buchalski behind them, and then Alexis Zeiss as well. So I don't think anybody's looking to make any moves this early on.
Just chilling.
Yeah. You have everything ahead of you as you're running through the Valley Loops at this point. You have the switchbacks ahead of you. You have Poop Out. You have Reservoir Hill. And then you have all of that again. Yeah. So
this would be conservation mode, I think, for all of these runners, just trying to, conserve.
And here, as they exit the Valley Loop, which we'll see shortly, we'll come up on the 1 mile mark too. And the 1 mile mark is hit traditionally. They have a special permanent 1 mile marker sign there.
They also have if you're a local and you know what you're looking for, they have a yellow cone on a pole that if you know what you're looking for, you will know that that is also a low-key 1 mile mark. There it is right there on the left-hand side of the screen. You see the orange cone on a pole is apparently...
Well, I was wrong when we were doing our, run through. So that is also... that is the 3 mile mark there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're coming up on the mile
Still, you'd have to know as a local to know what the cone on the pole means.
Yeah, you do. We're coming up on the mile marker now, I believe, and we're hitting it around 5:30. So it is a good conservative pace to start out, and rightfully so, because they're about to go up the switchbacks right now, and you're going to want to take a look at this. So here we are shooting from afar, and this is the exit of the Valley Loop, and they have to go up that beast right there. So this is heading up the switchbacks, and the grade of the switchbacks can get to 10%.
Oof.
So that is a mighty beast that they have to climb here. But Danny Shanahan knows what she's doing because this is her 11th time racing this course. She's done it 10 times in high school.
Can I share is this appropriate time to share her quote from Instagram that
Oh,
I found?
Absolutely.
So I was doing some digging on some of these runners just to try and find some extra information to share with you all that might be kind of fun. This is a rather long race. And I pulled up Danny Shanahan's Instagram, and she wrote about being a California girl, and I'll just read you the quote from her caption the other day that she posted. She said, "When I think of Mt Sac, I look at it as a bit of a cornerstone of my running career. I would run it 2 or more times a year in high school." That's where she gets to 10, I guess. It's a place where I had early triumphs and felt some of my first heartbreaks in running. It taught me how to be tough and grind and find that extra push that's always there if you want it bad enough. It's the place that I ultimately fell in love with the sport, and I've always wondered in the back of my mind what I could do on the course all these years later. On Saturday at 2 p.m., I'll have my chance to find out. How great is that?
I mean, I
thought
think
that was so cool.
I don't know if everybody thinks this way, but I always think, well, what could I do on my home cross country course too back in the
Absolutely. So it's a kind of homecoming story. I bet she hasn't run it since high school.
Yeah, since senior year in high school when she won that Division IV championship here for the Southern section, 16:41.
So now, where are they at now?
So now they've crested switchbacks, and they're coming off the backside of switchbacks. So they're on the downhill, they're on the descent, and I think early on in this course, you definitely don't want to make any hard moves, but you have to protect your quads a little bit running on these downhills, as we know from this morning.
Mm-hmm. And they just got their first little taste of lactic on that first hill.
Yeah, hopefully they can get that out of their system in the switchbacks.
The downhill. They get a really cool, if they can look up and look to their left, they get a really cool view of the brand new track here at Mt Sac that has been a long time coming. The new track that was built, was it a year ago or something? Right?
Finally finished, opened up last year for the first races, and just announced yesterday that the 10,000 meter championships will be held here on May 20th.
Very cool.
USATF. And there we have, Kayleen Morris and Danny Shanahan, two Southern California natives there. Who the two people who may know this course the best are out front. So the other athletes are being a little more conservative. If I were them, I'd start marking Danny and Kayleen here because they know what they're doing. But
they could know what they're doing, and have some confidence. They could regret that later. We're just gonna find out.
Hey, I hope they know 2 laps.
Yeah. They're thinking about their old high school days, like, oh, we're halfway done. No.
So we see the fans here on the side, and this is where you can get a good glimpse of how things are starting to shake out in the race if you're a spectator on the ground. But they're crossing the airstrip again, and then they're heading straight up into Poop Out Hill, and this hill is a monster. This is the steepest grade on the course, maybe the shortest hill, but the steepest grade. It can get up to 12.7% grade. And as Colleen said,
I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, no.
Yeah, you can nearly reach out and touch the ground as you're running up this hill. It's crazy, but you
It's
can see
also
it going
not
down.
that short. I know it's the shortest hill, but you go up the first part and you're like, okay, I'm there, but then it goes up again.
And we're getting the first splits here.
Unattached men or open men are popping up first here.
Yeah, and you can scroll down
Now
and see
there's
Danny Shanahan as well. And this split is not part of a time here. It's not a mile or a 2 mile, or it's not part of a distance. So it's just so that we can keep
not
track of
super
the
helpful.
scores here. Yeah.
But you can see that there's less than a second or 1 second between Danny and Kayleen. So they are right there running together.
And the Hansons Brooks are packing it up here.
Oh, they are. It looks like not even a second between those 4 Hanson Brooks runners. So that's pretty cool. I think, one of the things that I remember the most about cross-country running, even though not to be too negative, but I kind of hate cross-country, but I did love it for the team aspect, and there's no other time where you feel like you get to, be in that comfort zone of feeling almost like you're in a workout when you're packed up with teammates who you train with all the time, and that gives you that sense of confidence and comfort, almost like you're out there doing a hard tempo run or something, rather than just kind of being on your lonesome out there like you often do on the track. So I'm sure they're getting confidence and some energy from being able to run in the pack like that. It's pretty cool.
And it's a good strategy, too, packing up early on, maybe through the first half of this race. And then we'll see who starts to make a move, who's feeling good in the latter stages. But this is the backside. This is the backside of the course, the backside of Reservoir Hill. So Danny Shanahan up front. And you can see Allie Buchalski making a move to overtake Kayleen Morris there.
Yeah, Kayleen looks like she's dropping off just a little bit.
Danny Shanahan having visions of the past here, her glory days back in high school. They're going to make this turn here, and then they swing around and go up Reservoir Hill on the front side. So we're looking at a screen right now watching them, but from our vantage point at the finish line, we'll be able to see them crest the hill as they run up the ridge there.
I can see them. They're about to pass these beautiful yellow wildflowers. If they can take a moment and enjoy the scenery.
There's no time to stop and smell the roses here. You got to keep your foot on the gas.
Absolutely.
So there's that Hansons Brooks pack behind Allie Buchalski and Kayleen Morris, but Danny Shanahan up front here. She's asserting herself as they come to the final hill of the first lap, which is Reservoir Hill.
I have to say, these camera angles from the drone and the car, it's really good. I feel like if you've never seen the course before, it would give you a really good idea of how it all works out. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Danny Shanahan up there, and I think Allie Buchalski, you could see here on the screen, Allie Buchalski making a move to try and get up to Danny Shanahan. We'll see if she can do that on the ascent up Reservoir Hill. And then we could have a battle on our hands through this second lap of the course. But Reservoir Hill, cross-country courses, of course, there's a lot of discussion around, well, cross-country times don't really matter. You can't measure times course to course, and that's true. But this course is so legendary that your time on this course can be measured through the ages, through 73 years of people running on this course here. And the monsters of this course are Reservoir Hill, Poop Out Hill, and the switchbacks. And if you say those words to somebody who has once run this course, it'll send shivers down their spine.
Oof.
And here we go. You can see Allie Buchalski closing the gap on Danny Shanahan here.
There's 2 runners from the Hanson Brooks group who are packed up. Let's see where they're at. Looks like our last check-in, they were 19th and 20th, although that is with all the males in there too. So it's kind of hard to tell, but I think that puts them at like 5th and 6th-ish on the women's only results. But I want to call them out because I looked on their social media and it looked like they ran Chicago together. It was both of them, their debut first ever marathon. And they went to Chicago, which was cool to see that they finished right next to each other, 18th and 19th, both running 2:40 as teammates in their debut marathon. And then I also saw
Look at Danny Shanahan. And Allie Buchalski flailing. That is the steepest descent on this course, and they're just flailing their arms and trying to stay on this course here, trying to stay on the path. Allie Buchalski almost flew out the side there.
Oh, God.
And they're going to turn right here and head into the valley loop, I believe. So after they come out onto the airstrip again.
They do that first loop again.
So traditionally, they would make a left here, and they would turn back onto the airstrip and then run up the gauntlet, they call it, and into the finishing chute. But instead,
not today.
Yeah, not today. You gotta do the whole thing again. And look at that look on Danny Shanahan's face there. She's focused.
She looks pretty relaxed.
This is uncharted waters for her. This is the first time that she's had to tackle these hills again.
So this is the halfway point, correct?
Yes.
So yeah, just repeat.
So we're approaching at the end of this valley loop. We will get to 3 miles.
Right. Still a lot of racing left to do, but you have to be getting extremely uncomfortable at this point.
Yeah, what are you thinking about at this point if you're out there as a racer?
I think it's a combination of, okay, you can't press that hard here because like we just said, it's only halfway, but at the same time, it's not that much, space left to go. So you can't back off. I think it's just all about staying patient, but also not letting those gaps get any bigger, or trying to slowly reel people in. But if I'm Danny, I'm staying patient, staying calm, knowing that there are 3 massive hills still left to go.
And are you thinking about who's behind you at this point if you're Danny?
For sure, but I think there's kind of a cool advantage to this race with the men being in here, the open men, that she can use them to kind of work off of. She can, if there's one up, ahead of her in her sights, she can try and reel him in. And you don't get, if you're up in the lead and in a kind of female-only race, you don't kind of get that advantage. So hopefully she's using that and letting them pull her forward.
And she's reached 3 miles in 17:21 here. So I believe if we're looking at 2.93 as the distance for the traditional high school course, that would probably put her close to her high school PR, which is 16:41.
Now she just has to do it again.
Yeah, now she's got to do it again. So she's got 2 companions here as they approach the switchbacks again, and now they start to go up for the second time.
Yeah, I think it is pretty cool that she gets to use these dude runners to be able to push her. Oh yeah, this hill right here is so steep. Look, you can tell they're just, God.
Those corners are super steep there. It levels out a little bit as you.
That first turn though.
Yeah. There's 3 turns on the switchbacks too, and they're very steep. It looks like Allie Buchalski has gotten right up to Danny Shanahan too. Danny Shanahan's slowing a little bit on this uphill, but maybe that's intentional.
Maybe she knows how to fly down the downhill.
Allie Buchalski's overtaken Danny Shanahan here. So Buchalski, the 14:57 5,000 meter runner.
Allie actually looks really great on that hill. She's making it look easy, which I can tell you it is not.
Her coach, Danny Mackey, has said that she's built a lot of strength in this offseason. She was 5th in the Olympic trials 5,000 meters this last year. And we can see the rankings here on the side too. Shout out to Jake Willard there from Tracktown, resident of Eugene, Oregon. Knox Robinson, too, from New York City, the Black Roses.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know he was in this race. Yeah, founder of the Black Roses. Very cool.
We saw a great short in the film festival last night that starred Knox Robinson.
Really? What was that one?
It was just a biopic, a short biopic on him. So
Very cool.
yeah, it was very neat.
And that was shown right up here at the Jumbotron at the track, right?
Yeah, hosted by Alexi Pappas. I think you can watch it on YouTube now. So now they're on the descent, and Allie Buchalski it looks like she's got a pretty good gap going. I don't see Danny Shanahan in the screen right now. So she's definitely using this long downhill. The switchbacks it's a short, steep uphill, but it's a nice gradual long downhill, and especially as they come through this side of the stadium, she can really use that to her advantage and lengthen that stride.
I do feel like at this point it must feel good to have, you're like, okay, we're on the second loop. You know, I have that hill, but every time you get past one of these hills, you're like, okay, that one's behind me, and you feel a little bit more, like it's a little bit more manageable.
You can see Danny Shanahan up there, not too far behind Allie Buchalski, but Buchalski's really making a move here. Trying to stay in control on that downhill too, because there's two more big hills, so you don't want to work too hard on the downhills, just let them come to you.
I was helping my friend a couple days ago through her first ever 5K. It was just a fun run, and I was trying to coach her into the uphill. She was really struggling on the uphill parts, and I was trying to tell her, the uphill is just gonna suck, but then you get a break. You know, you mentally try and tell yourself, I'm about to get a recovery on the downhill, and I said, you get your heart rate to come down a little bit, and just think about it as this is your recovery. Obviously, you're still running, you're still moving, but just mentally tricking yourself to say this is a break.
And this course is a war of attrition here. So as they get onto the airstrip again, they make their way over to Poop Out Hill, which I don't think you're going to separate yourself on Poop Out Hill, but you can lose a lot of ground on Poop Out Hill because it's very tough to charge up that hill and change pace. But you can definitely, Poop Out Hill can break people.
Can poop you out.
Yeah, I think that's the word I was looking for.
Pretty sure that's why it's called that.
But Allie Buchalski making her way up Poop Out Hill again here.
Allie looks great. It looks like Kayleen Morris is back in, so we got Allie, Danny, and then Kayleen. And then Anne-Marie Blaney, Amy Davis, Olivia Pratt.
Carter Chrisman at the front of this race, too. Former Oregon Duck. Another resident of Eugene. Come down to Mt Sac.
Katrina Spratford is back there, too, behind the Hanson-Brooks, a couple of the Hanson-Brooks gals. I saw on her page that she's doing some coaching with Get Running Coaching, which is a personal coaching company started by Neely Spence Gracie. They have 3 female coaches in their company, and she's one of them, which seemed, that's her side hustle. Seemed pretty cool.
Buchalski now on the backside. Once she makes this turn, she's on the backside of Reservoir Hill.
That's the last hill, right?
Yeah, and this is roughly the 4-mile mark around here too. So on the backside of Poop Out. So she's around 23:30 or so for 4 miles. And fighting it out in the front. Buchalski too, not familiar with this course growing up. She's from Georgia, but state champ in cross country in 2012 in Georgia. And she was also a runner-up in the 5,000 at NCAAs, too. She ran for Furman.
Yeah.
Jones Creek High School, shout out. You know you're all watching. This is your woman out here, Jones Creek.
I love that. You got to have some high school pride. I wonder what their mascot is.
Cross country just brings it back. And Allie's looking great right now. So she has one more big hill. She has Reservoir Hill to go, but she's conquered all of the other hills. She's gone up switchbacks twice. She's gone up poop out twice. She's gone up reservoir once. And she's about to do it again. And then after she crests reservoir, she's got one more valley loop, and then she shoots into the finish. We'll see if she can hold this lead and what's going on behind her here.
We got a flyover.
Yeah, there's a helicopter. They're working for us too.
Johns Creek. They're the gladiators.
Johns Creek Gladiators.
I bet they're watching and so proud.
Allie Buchalski in the arena here.
Too good.
And she's passing the wildflowers too.
I actually love that section. It's really cool. And it's quiet. There's no spectators over there. It's really just a parking lot on the other side of that part of the course. When we jogged it, it was like, ooh, yeah, this part is going to be quiet. Don't let anyone, you got to stay in the pain cave. You can't get distracted in that section.
The pain cave. Tell us about that.
Oh, yeah. My college coach used to call it that. You just got to, actually, maybe she called it the pain closet, I think. You just stay in the closet.
Pain closet.
Coach
right.
Karen Harvey. Words of wisdom.
I've heard it called the hurt box.
Hurt locker.
Hurt locker.
That's cross country though. Once you get there, you just have to realize, okay, this is just going to be like this for the rest of the race. Like there's no, reprieve. It's not like, oh, it might get better. Probably not. It's just going to be painful. You just got to, here we are.
It's not for the smooth striding pretty runners.
No.
It's for the tough grinding runners who don't mind getting knocked around a little bit. They're scrappy. They're tough. Those are the types of runners who excel in cross country. And I mean, if you can excel in cross country, you're going to be pretty good on the track too.
So she's in the middle of this Reservoir Hill right now, right? That's the second section.
Yeah. So she's cresting Reservoir Hill right now as she
Allie.
passes these cylinders up at the top. And I think, and we could see her up here from our spot too. From the finish line.
This is really kind of picturesque. We can see the silhouette of the runners on the hill as they come up that last hill. It's a little bit hazy today, and you can just see their shadows.
And I think there's been some changes behind Allie, too, because I saw what looked to be a Hanson's Brooks athlete climbing into second position. So we'll see what their team score is when they cross the finish line, but this is Allie charging down the steepest descent here on the course.
That could have been Amy Davis or Olivia Pratt. Both of them are definitely coming up on Danny Shanahan. They're working together just like they did in Chicago in the marathon. They're just stride for stride right now.
They both ran 2:40 out there.
Mm-hmm. I read on Olivia's page that she had a little incident with some fueling and ended up losing her breakfast not once but twice on the course during 26.2 in Chicago. First ever marathon. Had a couple incidents, but despite that, said that she loved it. She already can't wait for her next one. I was like, okay, and it takes a special kind of someone, and you're definitely going to be good at cross country.
Yeah, that kind of toughness bodes well for this course.
Absolutely.
We have Allie Buchalski here charging down Reservoir Hill, and she's going to make a left. She's going to go straight, actually, and now she's entering the valley loop where they'll go backwards on the valley
Oh, that's
loop.
right. I actually forgot they had one valley loop before the finish. I was getting ready for her to come in.
Yeah, not quite yet.
Not yet. There's still more.
So Allie Buchalski here.
Backwards on the valley loop, though.
Backwards through the valley loop, and then she'll hit the airstrip, and then she'll come up to home.
Right to the finish. Got a couple guy athletes to work with here.
Yeah, we'll see if she can use them to her advantage.
She's looking strong, and she's got a sizable lead. I'd be surprised if anyone would catch her at this point.
That cone on that sign there is the 5th mile marker, so we'll see if we can catch what the time is when she passes that. And remember, 5.5 miles.
29:19, maybe?
29:19 for 5 miles, which is excellent on this course.
Do we have course records for 5.5 on this course?
We do not. This would
It's
be
never been done?
this would be a new Mt Sac world record for 5.5 miles.
It's incredible.
So whoever crosses this line first, be it Allie Buchalski or somebody else, is going to own the Mt Sac course record for this distance.
So it looks like Amy Davis is the one coming up behind Allie. She's the Brooks Hansen runner, and then Olivia Pratt is after her, 7 seconds after Amy. It looks like about 16-second lead Allie has on Amy when they came through one of our split markers. Again, not really relevant distances for our splits, but at least you can get a feel for how much time is in between these runners.
And Allie, too, finishing up the valley loop here. And now she's going to hit the airstrip.
Danny Shanahan dropped back to 4th.
So this is 400 meters to go here. Charging in the distance of one circuit on the track. We'll see what Allie has left.
Here's our first open male finisher coming through.
Carter Chrisman finishes in around 30:56.
Is he holding a disposable camera?
I think so.
He certainly is. That's a first.
If we can get those photos.
Let us see what you got, buddy.
Yeah, when he gets those back, we'd like to see those.
It's going to take a few days. I
Allie
feel like that's a power move.
yeah.
Total flex.
Allie Buchalski coming in here, going into what they call the gauntlet. So this gravel gauntlet here, this is where champions are made.
Another little sneaky uphill to the finish, just in case you didn't get enough.
Just a gut punch here, a little grassy.
Cherry on top.
Yeah, here's your champion. I don't believe she'll be overtaken now. Allie Buchalski coming in here. The winner.
Looking at the clock.
The winner of Cross Champs this year. We'll see what it says for 5.5 miles. It's about 31:53, I think.
Very solid.
Nice work, Allie Buchalski. Look at that. All in a day's work.
Coming up behind her, if we can see that angle.
And that's Amy Davis.
Amy, yep.
Amy Davis coming in.
With her teammate, Olivia Pratt, right behind her.
Good run for the Brooks Hansens team.
Absolutely. Cleaning up so far. It's a sweep.
Allie
Get your brooms out.
Get your brooms out, everybody. She's got her Beast uniform on there. And here's Danny Shanahan coming in. She'll get 4th. Excellent job by Danny Shanahan. She led that first lap of the race. I think we can call it the 12th time that she's run this course. 10 in high school, and then two more today.
That should count for 2. I agree. There's our Janes runner.
Kayleen Morris. Another SoCal local.
And then Catherine Monks.
That's Anne-Marie Blaney coming in here. And there's Catherine Monks. So all 4 athletes from Hansons Brooks have crossed now, and I think it's clear that they took this championship. So they're going to get a nice little payday. Along with Allie Buchalski there. All smiles right now. Everybody looks okay.
Haven't seen anyone. I saw a few people in the high school races do the dramatic, throw themselves across the line, dive onto the dirt, you know.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that for the pros here. A little more composed.
Yeah, they manage their efforts pretty well out there. Nobody's getting dragged off.
It's also just a beautiful day out here.